evening, everyone, and a warm virtual welcome to this edition of Trends Watch Connect. I'm your host, Zainab Abdurrahim, and I'm thrilled to have every single one of you joining us today. On our episode today, we'll be discussing global entrepreneurial trends, strategies for seizing opportunities. In today's business world, the capacity to identify and seize fresh opportunities is a crucial skill that distinguishes successful enterprises from others. Markets, consumer trends, and technological progressions continuously present new avenues for advancement and creativity. On our episode today, our distinguished guest, Dr. Salisu Uba, will equip us with practical ways to effectively identify trends and strategies to seize opportunities in order to foster the rise of innovative prospects in our businesses. Dr. Salisu Uba is a procurement and supply chain expert. He is the founder and CEO of NatQuest, a UK-based company that specializes in helping businesses access efficient and cost-effective procurement and supply chain expertise through its SCM Genius Network platform. He has founded companies in Nigeria, the Middle East, and Europe in various areas. Dr. Salisu obtained his PhD degree in supply chain management and blockchain adoption at the University of Strathclyde, Glasgow, UK. His MSc in supply chain management from the Aberdeen Business School, Robert Gordon University, UK. He also lectures as an associate supply chain lecturer at the University of Strathclyde, Glasgow, UK. He's also a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Procurement and Supply, CIPS, the global professional body for procurement and supply chain. He is one of the contributors of the Global Standard for Procurement and Supply Chain, and his contributions have been recognized at the highest level, including an exceptional talent in digital supply chain by the UK government. Dr. Salisu has delivered advisory and consulting services in commercial, digital procurement, contract and supply chain management, technical workshops, leadership sessions, and mini MBA programs in partnership with leading training providers, benefiting Fortune 500 companies. Notable clients include esteemed entities such as the Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia, Saudi Aramco, Bank of Riyadh, Chevron, NNPC Nigeria, NLLG Nigeria, OQ Oman, NMIS Scotland, among others. Dr. Salisu specializes in evolving supply chain capabilities to build exceptional products and services and create value for customers and stakeholders. He's passionate about the future of work in supply chains and driving his through on-demand innovation. Most importantly, he helps small businesses thrive in a competitive global business landscape. Dr. Uba, welcome to Trends Watch Connect.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Your citation is impressive to say the very least. And I mean, for someone who's been in Nigeria, Middle East, and UK, I am really curious to know how you've amassed so much experience in such a little time. Because you're not even 70 or 80. And this citation feels like someone who's been through 3 lifetimes if I do so to myself.
If you're looking to boost your business brilliance, you're an entrepreneur, or you run a school, have a restaurant, or you're just individuals who like to showcase your story, please feel free to do so via Trends Watch Weekly magazine. You can amplify your influence. Visit our website www.trendswatch.co/contact/, to be part of the next big thing.
That's a great one. In today's business environment, seizing opportunities is vital for entrepreneurship. Recognizing chances, taking calculated risks, and acting promptly are essential for success. By staying open-minded and willing to take measured risks, you can position yourself to capitalize on opportunities when they arise. Together with our guests, we'll be discussing insights, experiences, and practical advice to help you strategically seize opportunities for growth and expansion as an entrepreneur. So, without further ado, let's embark on this journey together. I encourage you to actively participate, ask questions, and engage with our guests. Let's navigate the path to entrepreneurial success. My first question, Dr. Salisu, please share with us some background information on our topic, global entrepreneurial trends.
Right. Thank you everyone for having me. It's really a pleasure to be having this conversation with you this evening, obviously here in the UK. I believe it's also evening in Nigeria, and for others that are joining from all over the world. This is quite an interesting topic and quite broad, to be honest. If you're talking about global trends in entrepreneurship, we're talking about looking at the global economic landscape. First of all, we need to go back and redefine or look at what is truly entrepreneurship. So to me, we have, just like the word of Tom, the founder of Monzo, one of the largest digital bank in the UK. He said, everything you see in this world, from the infrastructure, the financial services, everything was absolutely created by someone. So you have a choice to follow the rules, to follow the crowd, or to be among the individuals that will build our tomorrow. So an entrepreneur is someone who sees opportunity from personal experience, some of the challenges that you come across, whether it's a systemic, whether it's lack of concentration around particular provision of products and services, or it could even be redefining business model, right? And this is where things like innovation and many things can come into play. So if you look at the global service economy, right? For example, Nigeria, most of the things we do in Nigeria are centered around the service sector. What are the top 10 sectors that are thriving? You benchmark that with other part of the world, let's say MENA region or Asia, before coming to places like Europe and America and all of that. Now we have to benchmark. Obviously, one of the key driver for entrepreneurship today is technology. Because technology is an enabler. It's enable transforming different businesses, different ideas, right? That is why you see a lot of scalability in tech-enabled businesses. Obviously, some of the global trends, right, should be centered around what are the specific problems that you can see as an entrepreneur. And I would like to also give you a bit of an interesting concept by Stephen, who said that you have, typically, if you want to be a sound entrepreneur, you have to at least fill these 5 buckets. Number 1 is your knowledge. And then once knowledge is being acquired through different means, whether formal or informal, the ability to transform that knowledge is going to be your skills, right? And these 2 important buckets are quite integral because nobody will take away your knowledge and skills. And then based on that, you can build on resources, right? Network. And obviously, the reason why I'm saying this is that you cannot just jump into, okay, everybody is going into fintech and I want to go into fintech. You need to have the knowledge, right? At least the basic understanding of the sector that you're going into. How big is the opportunity? What level of market is accessible? How do you even solve the problem? I remember back in 2014 or so, there was a time I walked into one of these banks in Nigeria, and it was terrible, in terms of the queuing system,
Mm.
You know, customer service is just as terrible as you could imagine. And I was like, this is a huge opportunity that someone can tap into. So technology is a big enabler, and in every sector, for example, if we look at the landscape of Nigeria, might be entirely different with the landscape of places like Middle East, the UK, and all of that. So as a way of example is some of the biggest, most thriving sectors in the UK is within net zero. How can you help businesses to become more sustainable, organizations to become more sustainable? Right? If you have an idea, you have a solution that you're providing, whether it's around waste to energy, this is a thriving environment in the United Kingdom and other parts of Europe. But not necessarily this might be quite intriguing opportunity for businesses or customers within Nigeria or Africa. But if you look at it from the other side of the equation, you look at, okay, service industry, education, right? How can we have a lot of population, right? How can we use technology to enable a better education? E-commerce, as simple as creating a better user interface, right? I saw a very interesting analysis about one of these digital banks in Nigeria. They have already outgrown some of these commercial or traditional commercial banks because they leverage on technologies to solve a societal problem.
Yeah.
So basically, I want to summarize this into you need to have the knowledge, first of all, and the understanding of the sector, right? I am a supply chain person. Many people don't really know the significance of supply chain in transforming businesses. You cannot survive in any environment when you cannot manage your supply chain. And this entails managing your suppliers, right? Getting your product to market, managing costs, things like inventory, procuring goods and services, selling those products and services. So just like we're talking about technology, supply chain is integral to identifying even key sectors. I can give you 5 different sectors in Nigeria that they have almost zero management of their supply chain. So if you can improve on some of these linkages, whether around process, whether information, whether customer experience and all of that, it's going to make huge difference. It's going to be a massive opportunity for any entrepreneur or any business that is interested in venturing into that.
Thank you very much, Dr. So, like you said, knowledge of everything or anything you want to do is important. And that's, I think, something a lot of people don't factor into before jumping into whatever it is they choose as a business. What are the current global entrepreneurial trends that businesses should be aware of to stay competitive?
Right. That's quite broad as well. I mean, sometimes we have to be sector specific, but again, I get your question. I think some of the trends, because we're now moving towards a new generation, I think they are called Gen Z, right?
Yes.
These are individuals that are tech savvy, right? These are people that are quite conscious about what they eat, what they buy. That's concept of ESG, sustainability, and all of that. So as a way of example, I think some of the biggest trends that we have is around reducing our carbon footprints. And this is why technology is still going back to some of the most interesting sectors is that it is easier to scale tech-enabled business. And let me give you a practical example. If you look at how companies are valued, right? You have a manufacturing company that has a huge size customer base. They have huge capital costs. They have infrastructure available. They have almost everything. But you see a small startup, right, coming up with an idea, a disruptive idea that has the potential that who knows whether it's going to work or not, but they will be valued more than this manufacturing business. because scalability in this kind of business is quite easier with a minimal cost. You can do that. So really, I think the trend is around, understanding sustainability. And this is something that I want to really emphasize, especially for audience in Nigeria. Most businesses don't have structures, don't even understand how they can build a sustainable business that can have the ability to expand, to serve more customers, to be able to generate more revenues. So one of the things that you can do is you cannot service other markets when you cannot fulfill the absolute requirement of your immediate market or your customers. So that's absolutely important. I remember in my earlier comments, entrepreneur is someone who think about better ways to solve societal problems. Think about whether this is things to do with understanding the customer's pain point, bringing different innovative ideas to disrupt an existing business model. Yes, from the beginning, it may sound that this is not workable, but it is. Once you believe in it, you have the right individuals. Another thing that I think is also a very important trend that I want to say is about skills. Back in, I think last year or last 2 years, the Dangote refinery back in Nigeria, I think there were some comments around employing skilled individuals from India or China. I can't actually remember. But what this is saying is that, does that really mean we don't have skilled individuals in Nigeria? That's another key thing, because you cannot build sustainable and impactful and successful venture without skilled individuals. Many business individuals that are quite successful will attest to the fact that you need those individuals that are skilled, right? That they have the capacity to deliver exceptional results. And for example, in a tech business, it's not just about the tech side of the business. You have to think about the commercial side of the business, right? The customer segment. These are individuals that understand the customer segmentations. They understand what the customers really need. The commercial model. I think you're a lawyer, right? Zainab?
Yes, I am.
So typically, I will give you one of the biggest problems that I've encountered working with different organizations all over the world. Is that emphasis we're given to, especially contracts. Every organizations go into contracts, whether with their customers or whether with their suppliers. But customers, we focus more or less on the administrative side of contracts, which is what the legal guys can do very well. But we have a very important segment, which is the commercial aspect of contracts, which is looking at things beyond just the administrative side of the contract, looking at the implementations, the KPIs, understanding other metrics that can be measured, what is even the implication, what is even the right form of contract that we are going into. Is it a service contract? Is it a fixed contract? So these are all things that any entrepreneur should be able to have that level of skills. I'm not saying you should have everything in order to understand and navigate through an emerging or big opportunity market, but you need some element of this and then complementing it with individuals that are quite skilled to deliver that. So that's quite a big, interesting segment. Lastly, I think there is a lot of opportunity based on the research we have conducted around healthcare in Africa. There is a lot of things that you can bring as an entrepreneur. There is a lot that can be done. And it's only when you look at it from a supply chain point of view, right? You segment it, from one aspect to another, from another aspect to another segment, and then you identify areas of opportunities. It's not just the doctors or the medical professionals that are needed. There are so many segments within the health sector. The power sector, energy sector. How can we drive other use of technological advancement or better alternatives to bring more power? And these are interesting conversations that are happening. Last couple of months, about 2 months, I was in Riyadh attending the Leaf 2024, which is the biggest tech gathering in the world. And most of the companies and startups that really fascinate almost everyone are startups that are providing sustainable, cost-efficient energy solutions. Amazing solutions. So, when you look at the dynamics and the trends, you have to be very specific, right? What are the informations that you have? How big is the market? What can you tap into? You could be as simple as individual who is providing access to information about particular solutions. Because information is absolutely key. I rely on information. As an entrepreneur myself, every morning I read at least 3 top business journals: Wall Street journals, Financial Times, Bloomberg, BBC Business. You need to equip yourself with information because things are, everybody is talking about AI today. But the top individuals that will get the best AI out of AI are businesses that were able to, as quick as possible, embed their product and services with the use of artificial intelligence.
If you're looking to boost your business brilliance, you're an entrepreneur, or you run a school, have a restaurant, or you're just individuals who like to showcase your story, please feel free to do so via Trendswatch Weekly Magazine. You can amplify your influence. Visit our website www.trendswatch.co/contact/ to be part of the next big thing.
In what ways can technological advancements be leveraged to seize entrepreneurial opportunities on a global scale?
I think technology generally is a big opportunity, is a game changer. I think if you look at the landscape of how some of the top 500 companies, Fortune 500 companies, how the table has actually turned around over the last 10 years. Today some of the top 10 companies are all tech-enabled companies, and this is not just by accident, but it's because of the huge opportunity for scalability, creating unique, solutions, and leveraging on quick access to big markets rather than, traditional industries where the cost of expansion is quite huge. So for me, some of these technological advancements that we can leverage or, seek global opportunities is, if, let's say, some of the businesses that we are talking to at this moment, they have products, right? How fast can you get your product to an extended market, especially if your market or if your product has the ability to extend or to provide solutions to a big and huge market? Think about selling those products and services on e-commerce platforms. These are quite big opportunity for you don't have to do everything. I think there are even platforms where you can design products, get the product manufactured, and sell those products on those platforms without doing anything. Platforms like Shopify. I'm not marketing for them, but I'm saying that this is what technology can do for you as an entrepreneur. You can be in Nigeria and all of that. Another key important segment that I think is also absolutely important is digital marketing and social media. These are things that we could leverage on as entrepreneurs in order to seek global opportunities. Never underestimate the power of digital marketing and social media. There's a huge opportunity, huge untapped opportunities, especially when I look at particularly in Africa, we focus more or less on the social side. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. But there is huge commercial opportunities within digital marketing and social media, which businesses can tap into, get their product and services across to different aspects. And today with AI, you can even do more than just sharing information about your business. You can create unique content tailored to specific individuals, being translated into different languages, right? Targeting different segments of customers, and I think also the only way you can do that, especially for big businesses, you need to build the cloud infrastructure that is needed. We have several cloud infrastructure like Google, AWS, and
Yes.
all of that. You need to understand that how can we build our products and services on those platforms? Scalability these are things that you pay as a service. You don't just have to do anything. You pay for only what you have consumed or what you have used as a business. So really, we need to start thinking about understanding cloud computing power, right, as businesses, because as a supply chain person, I will not encourage people from Nigeria, for example, to start thinking about, okay, I'm expanding, I'm going to Dubai to register, whether it's through the free trade zone or whatever, go to Saudi, think about expanding to, this is not cost efficient. It's not sustainable. It's not something, because you don't have the knowledge of the market. But if you leverage on technology, it will create more opportunities that you could not even imagine. You have access to diverse individuals, different markets, and this is where, again, supply chain comes into play, managing your end-to-end delivery of those products and services, from logistics to operations management to inventory management and all of that. And again, I think I have also mentioned this, which is something that we don't even know what in the next probably 2, 3, or 1 year it should open in terms of opportunities, which is automation and AI. With AI, things are happening. Just yesterday, Google, announced different capabilities within their AI infrastructure, AI products and services, and how businesses can leverage on that. This is quite huge opportunity that businesses should start thinking about, because these tools are out there.
Yes.
You can use them to leverage on creating better customer experience, redefine your product, creating better business model, right? Reaching wider customers, not just in Nigeria, but across other African countries and even in other parts of the world. And again, technology will also enable collaboration, partnerships, because seamlessly you are in Nigeria or in other parts of the world, you can initiate conversations with global customers, right? We are talking about payment systems today. These are all not a problem. There's nothing like a problem in terms of integration of different tools and solutions around payment systems. You can receive funds in pounds or in dollar or reals or whatever from all over the world as a business person in Nigeria. And again, gig economy. I don't know if you have heard of gig economy. This is something that is transforming the future of work, right? A lot of individuals are based in Nigeria, but they can tap into the global opportunities in all parts of the world to work for multinationals, to provide their services, their skills, right, to individuals from all over the world or companies from all over the world. So this is something, especially with our human capability, right? We have large population. We have skilled individuals. All we need to do is to redefine our approach to how we can commercialize our skills as individuals, right? How can you best describe what you have known or what you have idea or knowledge about, and then translate it into a business opportunity that can extend beyond just few individuals, as simple as YouTubers. You can see the impact they are making. They are creating some of the most successful businesses. So there's huge opportunity in terms of leveraging on technology or technological advancement in order to seek global opportunities as an entrepreneur.
What are some common pitfalls or misconceptions that entrepreneurs should avoid when seeking to seize opportunities in the global market. And may I add that I would want us to learn from your own personal experiences. I mean, you've had your businesses in Nigeria, Middle East, and UK. I'm sure it's not been all rosy, and you might have had some, yeah. So, what are the
Yeah.
common pitfalls that entrepreneurs face?
I think some of the pitfalls or misconceptions, if you like, first of all, I would like to say that the first thing that you will come across is that you'll be disappointed once you're going into business world or entrepreneurship. You will absolutely be disappointed because um, you will have to leverage on a lot of individuals, right, to support the business, especially in the early days. Now, I'll give you an example based on personal experience. My first business, I think I started my first business when I was at the university, you know. But even as a then, it wasn't really something that I know that is going to go as well. I did my first degree in my degree. And at that time, I saw an opportunity because we are providing trainings to primary school teachers. There is this organization called the UBEC or something, Universal Basic Education. I think they were part of before they became um, an independent organization. I think they are part of Ministry of Education also. So what I'm saying is that one of the biggest challenge, even as at then, was look, why should you even waste your time on this, right? People don't believe that this is gonna work, but this is just waste of time. Why don't you just focus on what you are doing? Again, most recently, we decided to take completely new, different approach to the way organizations can access supply chain expertise based on my experience working in that industry for almost 14 to 15 years. And people were, look, this is a traditional industry. Why should you waste your time on bringing technology? Who is going to do or go for your services or go for your product? But again, this kind of comments or this kind of misconceptions that you receive from individuals, especially individuals that you thought might be quite supportive, is quite discouraging, And sometimes another misconception or pitfall that you come across is that the legal and regulatory framework is a big issue. And this is why the smartest business that we have come across in our time is that some of them, because of the level of innovation, right, the problem they are solving and the speed in terms of implementation, the regulators were not able to catch up with what they are doing. It was even after they executed, they grow, then the regulators are thinking about, okay, how can we regulate this kind of business? Typical example is social media. It is only now, after we're talking about almost 18 years today or 20 years, the likes of Facebook, that governments around the world are thinking about regulating social media. So in the early days, nobody think that this is going to be successful. This is going to be something that we should even worry about, right? Think about even companies like Uber and all of that. The way they started, nobody thought that this is going to scale through. How on earth can you just walk into an individual or stranger's vehicle, right? Airbnb and all. So things are changing. These are things that I could remember. I had an interview with one of these kind of the CEOs of one of these companies was talking about. It was crazy to the extent that people thought that he is mad. He doesn't even know what he's doing because this is not scalable. This is not practical. This is not convincing. Not to even talk about raising capital, getting funding, right? Whether it's debt funding, whether it's equity funding, whatever. People need to believe in your business. A lot of entrepreneurs don't have that support. It's a big challenge because they were not able to get the necessary support at at this time.
As I went through
But,
that
but,
process.
but the only thing that I would say as a solution, increasingly governments and, organizations around the world are understanding the significance of entrepreneurship, venturing into startup and businesses, and that's why they are creating different ecosystems, to support this kind of early ideation, right from ideation to development, go to market, and all of that. So, as a way of solution, I don't know of the recent development in Nigeria, but for example, in the UK, we have FSB, which is the Federation of Small Businesses. Lot of information, lot of support. You are not alone in this journey. You get to interact, attend events, get support, get legal protection, and so many things, And these are some of the things that can be able to navigate some of the pitfalls or misconceptions or challenges that entrepreneurs will face throughout their journey, right? So what I'm saying here is that try and associate yourself. If you have an idea, there are so many accelerators, there are so many communities where people that are like-minded, there are resources, whether free resources, whether these are resources that you have to pay for, because everything of value, you have to pay for it. Try and find a way to associate yourself, because this can easily help in catapulting your idea to make it better, to refine it, to create more value, to get it to the customer. Remember, people actually buy things from the people they know. And this is why I like the concept of the key person of influence, which is a business cannot be disassociated with someone who is behind the business, right? I'm confident that if I know that this person is reputable, he has a business, it is more likely for me to buy product or services from this particular business. So individuals, entrepreneurs should be able to promote themselves, be the key person of influence for their business in order to navigate some of these challenges and to build a sustainable brand. And this is where things like personal branding comes into play. So for us to be able to be attractive, right, especially getting our business to become commercially viable, to grow, beyond. I mean, I don't like the idea of small businesses. It's okay to have a small businesses, but you need to innovate. Innovation doesn't really mean you have to invent a television, right? It means as simple as if a customer or competitor is providing a services through a particular channel or model, you can redefine that model, create a better user experience, create a better commercial model. If it is pay as you go, can we create a subscription model, right? Can we create another mode of payment or mode of transaction to make it easier accessible to your customers? That is also a segment of innovation. So it's only when you come together, the more you share your idea, nobody is going to steal your idea. That misconception that you have an idea or nobody will do that, except if that business is worth $50 million dollars or so. Nobody will do that. The best person that is successful in business is the one that is good at execution. You can execute. Now I'm speaking to Zainab. I just give you an idea. Okay, or you share an idea with me. But you hold on to that idea for many, many years. Who knows? But the moment you share with me, I was able to execute that. That makes me a better entrepreneur than you, because I have that ability, right, to execute. I have that consistency of transforming an idea or product into, or just a mere raw material, let me give you, into a finished product, or generating a certain experience around delivering particular product or services. So really, we have to think about turning those challenges into an opportunity, right? Do your SWOT analysis, right? I believe you know what SWOT analysis is.
Yeah.
Identify all these segments, turn them as fast as possible, act on that, This is our experience. I was successful in doing everything that I think I'm doing based on my label, my experience, my exposure. But I still see a lot of challenges in terms of people not exploiting their potentials, right? You have a great idea simply because you thought that you don't want to work with certain individuals. There is nothing like that in business. You have to leave your comfort zone. You have to talk to individuals, right?
That's
You
so
have to get mentor, right? If you have a mentor, this is individuals that will help in transforming the idea. Share some of the challenges, some of the intricacies of going into business, and then you'll be able to navigate through with ease rather than doing it yourself and all of that.
Can you share any practical tips that you have applied when it comes to seizing opportunities?
I think I will share my personal experience. So before I left Nigeria a couple of years ago, I mean, I was in the UK since 2013 or so, and I left the UK, and then I was in between Nigeria and Dubai. We had a business that we were running there. When I was back in probably 2019, I think, I saw an opportunity, and this opportunity was triggered by my personal experience. And this is why it's very important, You see, the best businesses, if you look at Uber, Airbnb, WeWork, all these companies that were able to become unicorns and all of that, they all have a story, and this story were able to be personalized. Those individuals that are behind the companies, they have experience of something that they have faced or they have come across as a challenge, and they leverage on creating a solution for themselves and then extending that to individuals across the broader society. So when COVID hit the global economy, there is a lot of gap in terms of businesses that are quite responsive, right, to navigate through some of these challenges, right? So our business was quite reliant on the individual network that we have, and stuff like that. So eventually I ended up in a situation where I have to contact someone, I have to create an opportunity for someone that I know through someone to be able to do that. And I was like, okay, we're testing a model throughout 2020 to 2021, the evolution of work from home and all of that. And even those individuals, because I was stuck in Nigeria in 2020, right? I could only rely on, one of my best experience of using internet was Intel. I could remember. Their internet was superb. And then the experience I had then was I was working almost 20 hours perfectly with my peers, partners, and business network from all over the world. That means it's possible for someone to be in Nigeria and to support businesses or to work with businesses or partners or what have you from all over the world, right? But this was also made possible because of COVID, right? Because nobody has done that before.
Okay.
So I see that as an opportunity to say, okay, how can we create a network where we can bring in skilled individuals that can help businesses to transform their business? That's what we've created. It was just a mere idea, that was endorsed by places like the UK government and other partners. And today, this is where we are. So for me, one of the life personal experience that I would like to share with you or individuals that will be listening to this is that we have to always be observant, right? By developing habits of things around you, what are the problems? A typical Nigerian will always talk about the problems. Think about how can I create a simple solution to navigate this problem. there's huge unmet needs within different industries on daily basis. So you have to think about identifying those gaps, right? Again, like I said, every day is an opportunity for you to learn new skills. Because without continuous learning, you will not be able to develop the skill sets that are needed, right? People thought that being an entrepreneur is just the end of anything. That is the beginning of when you will start embracing the new concepts, new demand for new knowledge. For example, I was about to raise capital for our business, and I have no idea or experience around raising capital. I have to go into a new set of knowledge bank, to attend courses, to get information, to talk to individuals, to simplify concepts, right? We're talking about financial models. You need to be able, no accountant can do that for you. You are the business. They can develop the model, but you need to understand your model. You need to be able to simplify it. Knowing the metrics, what do you measure in your business? What is the success looks like? What do you want to be in the next 5 years or 10 years? So for me, personal experience is embracing continuous learning. I've dedicated at least 5 to 3 hours of my time every week to read books, right? To do some short courses, to write articles. And of course, most importantly, if you follow me on LinkedIn, I share a lot of useful content based on my experience of the things that I have learned across the things that I have done. And most importantly, this is also a live experience. You have to network. You have to be open-minded. You have to talk to people. We are fortunate to be in a social value world where if you need access to an individual, within a click of a button, you can have access to that individual. Today, if I make a simple search, who are the top thought leaders in entrepreneurship, get access to them free of charge. You can follow them on Twitter, on whatever, LinkedIn. You get access to information. These are information and knowledge that you may not have the opportunity or the resources to acquire them. So it's only when you network, and you may be surprised. Some of these individuals, you send them a message, they will respond, and they will be willing to help. I have always said, I gave someone an example. He wants to sell his product to people from Dubai, I think. He's from Gambia. And I was like, go on LinkedIn, check the 3 top or 5 top companies that you think that will benefit from your product. Get some key individuals from their marketing, from their sales, talk to them. Ask them that you want to arrange a call, or you want to have a meeting with them. Send a cold email. And surprisingly, he told me that he contacted about 50 of them, and out of that 50, 25 of them responded. And it was a success for him. And this was done at a zero cost. But ideally, a typical entrepreneur will think about, okay, we need to start thinking about expanding, paying for marketing, lead generation. While you have lead generation just within a click of a button, you have access to this information. You have to build a culture of doing it yourself. This kind of I can do attitude is the most important aspect of any entrepreneur. But please, importantly, this is me telling you based on everything that I have done to this level, is you have to take action. And this has to be decisive action. If you are running a business, it's a business, right? Don't compromise. If there's an opportunity, go for it. Be aggressive. Be smart. Take your ideas. Get feedbacks. Get information. Talk to the right guys. Get finance, right? Don't be afraid of exploiting other opportunities. If it means for you to sell 40%, 30%, 20% of your business, do it. Get the right individuals on board. Catapult the business. It is better for you to have a small piece of a big pie than to have the whole small pie by yourself.
Yeah.
So we really need to build that culture, that attitude of becoming successful individuals. And you can only do this by ensuring that you tap into all these opportunities. There are so many books, there are so many YouTube channels, so many pubs, Wall Street journals, different articles that you can read. You can get different tips, right? Different ideas, right? That can help you to be successful, because you need to build that knowledge, capability, exposure, right? To become successful. Nobody will do it for you, So absolutely, that's something that I think, based on my experience, I may not be a little bit personal, but I think generally, based on my experience, and ironically, these are things that over the years I have seen the importance and significance of doing some of these things that I've mentioned. Growing up in Nigeria, doing businesses in other parts of Africa, Middle East, and in the UK, I've seen incredibly how this would really help in building sustainable and successful venture. Because at the end of the day, you really need a combination of different capabilities, skills, exposure, network, and all of that to be able to be successful. Without people need to know you, right? You cannot shy away from that as a business person. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Salisu Uba, for coming. We've learned a lot. I know personally I've learned a lot, and my takeaway is what you just said. It's better to have small part of a big pie than to have the whole pie, but small pie to yourself. So thank you so
absolutely.
Thank you so much for listening, everyone. I hope you enjoyed our show. Please do check us on our social media platforms and give us a 5-star rating if you can. And remember to share our podcast and our videos with your friends and family. You can also visit www.strengthwork.co for more information on what we do. Join us today, 2 weeks from now, on Saturday, 27th of April, 2024, for our next episode of Trendwatch Connect. This episode is produced by Musa Muhammad. Research was done by Azomta Udochukwu. Our executive producer is Sana Kundiri, and I'm your host, Zainab Yusuf Abdurrahim. From everyone at Trendwatch, it's been an amazing time with us. Have a lovely day or night, depending on wherever you are.
If you're looking to boost your business brilliance, you're an entrepreneur, or you run a school, have a restaurant, or you're just individuals who like to showcase your story, please feel free to do so via Trendswatch Weekly Magazine. You can amplify your influence. Visit our website www.trendswatch.co/contact/ to be part of the next big thing.